I have a piece of cherry here. It's about 8 inches in diameter and 4 inches tall. And I cut it round. I didn't get it this way, but I met up with viewer Rick Chapman, who has a son that lives down the highway from me. And when he came down from north in Washington, he brought some wood. And this is a piece that he did. So I'm going to get a flat spot in the middle and drill a hole for a worm screw, and we'll get it mounted up and start turning some of this away. So I'll be right back. Well, I'm back. I got a flat spot, I got a hole in there, but the worm screw won't grab because there's a branch or something that was growing out of here. And I knew there was some little knob on it, but I didn't know what it was. I'm going to try this little adapter that I made a number of years ago. It just has a like a lag bolt that I can change the lengths on it. So I'm going to get that on there and see if that works. If it doesn't, I'll have to flatten it out and put a faceplate ring on it. Alright, I have it on my little adapter that I made where I can change the size of lag screws I have in there. I've got a good bite on it. I had a hole in my way right here that didn't line up, so I've temporarily glued that block on it. I also discovered a crack here that looks like, well, I don't know when it happened, but the wood's at 10%. We're going to go ahead and get this roughed out and see what happens. Start with a 5/8 bowl gouge, doing 700 RPM. Okay, I'm going to finish this off right here so I don't tear that bark off of there. Okay, we're going to have at least 3 places of different heights on this, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Switch to a 1/2 inch. I don't think that looks too bad. Except for I need to correct this angle a little bit. Okay, almost. This one's out here all by itself pretty much. Okay, I think that just about does it. I think that's it. I like it. And I don't want to change any of that, so I think I'll use a recess. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark for a recess here. And I turn that little square around just so I can see where I was at. And I can see the drilled hole that I have in it, which is off-centered from the real center. I'm going to get most of that recess done up to here. And I'll leave that on there to get this sanded, and we'll come back and remove that piece. You're probably wondering, why do I have an offset hole on the bottom? Well, I had drilled a very shallow hole in there so I could use my bandsaw circle cutting jig, and I figured once I got it on the worm screw I could just clean that up, but I just didn't trust how tight the worm screw was going to be. As it turned out, it would have been just fine. Alright, let's see if we can get this all sanded up. I think this won't be too hard, but we'll find out. I'm going to use my drill with the pad in there, 80 grit, lathe running in reverse, about 400, and I'll get going with that as soon as I get my dust collection going. Okay, here goes the first coat of finish on it, and this is a shellac base sanding sealer. Wow, I just love how the grain and the colors pop when you put some finish on cherry. Look at those rings. I hope you can see all that. The lighting is kind of strange and it changes things, but I think you're probably seeing it. Well, more than likely I'll finish this in shellac, but might wait till I get the sealer on both sides. So I'll see you when it's flipped around, and we'll start hollowing it out. Okay, I've got it flipped around, but that's going to be it for the day. Yesterday it hit 95. It's 82 right now, and it's only 11:30 in the morning, and it's supposed to be 95. Well, it's the next day. It's starting to get hot. It's a little bit before noon at 73 degrees. Yesterday it actually reached 97 degrees. That's pretty hot for us. I know some people might not think it's hot, but I guarantee you it's hot. What I've got going on here is between this surface and that surface, that drops almost 1.5 inches. So I'm looking forward to the look it's going to have, but it's again a lot of turning air with interrupted cuts. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, probably stay with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and see how fast we can go. About 800 RPM. I'm just going to leave that tailstock up there for a little while and I definitely will have to get it out of the way pretty soon. I think I've got to move the tailstock. Alright, I think this just might work a little bit better. I'm going to use my negative rake scraper for doing that. Or turn it up a little bit more. 900. That's not bad. I think when I sand it I can fudge a little bit more off. Alright, let's take some of this stock out of here. Ah, I see. I mentioned it before when I drilled this hole. It looked like it could have been a branch that healed over right there. Well, there we have it, right there. And that's starting to talk to me. So the tool comes around, it's cutting nice, it hits that, kind of bounces. I'm going to take a little more off of that, and then I think it's time to go get cooled off. So after taking a break, I came back out here. I decided I didn't want to fight with that knot, so I started with an 1¼ inch bit, drilled it. Now I'm drilling with a 2 1/8 inch. It'll just make things much easier. There is a little bit of the knot left, so I decided to go with one of the round carbide hollowing tools. As you can see, I turned my light on. Unfortunately, I was blocking the camera when I did it, so I took that part out. Alright, let's check that. Oh, yeah, I've got it down to maybe 5/16 here. And I got 5/16 on the bottom, and I have a small little recess in there, so we're might be a little less than a quarter, but that's fine. So I think it's probably time to do some sanding. Alright, this is going to take a little bit of work sanding. I'm going to sand these ends just by holding the piece, sanding like that. I'll sand the bottom like this, but I don't want to try sanding this way and hit these. I'm afraid they might break off. I'll show you a little bit of this, and I'll come back when it's time to get a finish in there. And I forgot, I'm going to sand the inside with just a sheet of paper like this. Alright, now I'll be back when it's time to get the finish on it. Time for some sanding sealer, and I already reached in here and got some on the inside because you wouldn't see anything happening anyways. And we'll get some on the bark here. So another coat of sealer, and then I'll get some shellac on it, and then I'll be back and show you what we have, because there's a recess, no tenon to take off. Alright, see you shortly. Well, here it is. It's all done, and I really love this cherry. It's really nice dark rings coming around here. Makes a real nice contrast. Look at that. That's pretty cool. There's the inside. That inside was so hard to sand. It just took forever, and I wasn't going to give up on it, so I'd sand it. I'd wipe it down with denatured alcohol, let it sit, and sand it and sand it. I finally got it down to 400 grit, and I got a really nice finish in there. I'm pretty happy with it. The turning part was really hard because of that knot that's down in there. Oh, that was a real booger. So I called this the Bloomin' Cherry because as I was turning it, I had a couple things going on that led to doing that, but I could watch it kind of opening up like a flower would. At the same time, we have a cactus plant in the backyard, and we finally got our first bloom on it, and it kind of happens about as fast as you can turn this on there. Well, not quite, but you can see it, and then an hour later it looks different. So I just remember watching it in stages open up, and it was really beautiful. I'll get a picture at the end of that. I think it's worth seeing. Just amazing. I finished 7 inches this way, it's 5.5 this way, and the height on the rim, it's like one end is 4, the other is 3 5/8, and it just blends to there. But this one drops down to 3 inches. So I think it gave it a very interesting look. So I finished with 2 coats of Zinsser Seal Coat, 2 coats of Zinsser Shellac, and I think it's a perfect finish for this. Special thanks to Rick Chapman for supplying me with this beautiful piece of cherry. I had a lot of fun turning it, and I sure hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor, click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So, till the next time, see you later.